You're curious about what innovation they may have come up with, so you stop and listen. This is the effect a brand can have on your potential customers' minds and will make it a lot easier to get your OnlyFans promotional messages to them. And then lastly, you can charge a higher price. Another advantage of having a brand is that you can set a price in the marketplace that is higher than most of your competitors. There are lots of tortilla chips, but only Doritos has the nerve to charge as much as it does for a bag of chips. You'll also notice in the grocery store that a brand like Doritos gets eye-level placement, making it more likely for you to purchase those chips as opposed to the ones at the bottom of the shelf. The status that a brand brings you allows you to charge a premium for your subscription and your content. People even feel like they are getting something extra when they aren't really getting anything more at all. This is the power of branding. It gives value to your content and your identity online, allowing you to have a lot more price control over your content. Okay, so what were the benefits of branding again? 1, fan loyalty. 2, fan recognition. 3, fans creating buzz on your behalf. 4, more effective marketing and promotion. And 5, you can charge a higher price. All right, so now that you've worked on establishing your brand and know that there are lots of benefits for a brand, how do you market your brand successfully? So you've now seen that the benefits of having a brand, as well as taking the time to establish your brand, so you'll want to go ahead and market it in the best possible way. Here are a few tips on marketing the brand of you effectively. First, stay on message. Now that you've established your brand message, you want to make sure that you consistently promote yourself and that message together. Since it is difficult to untie yourself from your brand, when you promote your brand message, you're in turn promoting yourself. When you put marketing materials out into the world, remember that they should reflect what your goals are as a brand and content creator. Remember, if you decide to promote in the short term, you may lose ground in the long term. So if you decide that you're a high-end brand and then decide to make a quick buck by putting your content or subscription on sale at a discount price, it may take you months to reestablish yourself as high-end again. If you say you're going to only post spicy pictures after your fans reach a tip goal and then turn around and post a bunch of spicy pictures anyway, you will damage your brand and what you have built up. This means making sure that all of your ad copy stays on message and that you don't stray from it ever. Tony the Tiger never decides one day that Frosted Flakes are just good and not great. So neither should you ever go off your brand message by even a small bit. Secondly, establish what you will and won't do clearly. One thing that sets a good brand apart from a bad brand is that you know exactly what a good brand stands for. That could be quality over quantity, innovation at all costs, or a dedication to customer service. You know that a good brand will stick to its word about what it is most passionate about. In the same way, you as a content creator need to make sure that your fans know what kind of content you produce, what kind of communication you plan on making with them, and how consistent you will be as a creator. These are the core elements of success for an OnlyFans creator. If your fans are unclear on where you and your brand stand on certain things, they are unlikely to continue to support you or recommend you to others. Once you establish with your fans what kind of content you won't create, it tells them just as much about you as anything else. The boundaries you set help establish your brand, and by setting boundaries, you help establish yourself in the marketplace and make a claim for your piece of the success pie. Thirdly, produce consistent ad copy and designs. One of the biggest representations to people of your brand will be the images and copy that you place in your marketing. Whether you design a fancy design for your OnlyFans name or just let your pictures do the talking for you is up to you. But no matter how you present your brand, you always want it to have consistent styling and colors. You want people to be able to recognize you and your brand almost instantly, and that requires creating consistent brand images. I have spoken previously about using similar pictures when you promote your OnlyFans. You may think that people will assume you have a small amount of content when you do that, but it actually will start to work its way into their brain. One image that people remember is worth 1,000 that they easily forget. When you do your marketing for your OnlyFans, try to pick one image along with specific coloring and styles that will help establish you and your brand in the minds of fans and potential fans quickly. Then fourth, don't extend your brand too far, too fast. One key to success with promoting your brand is to take your time with expanding it. What I mean there is that you might have the initial thought that once you have your brand established, you want to get it out to as many places as quickly as possible to saturate the market. This isn't always the best strategy, mainly because where you brand yourself also is a brand signal itself. You don't typically see ads for Tiffany & Company on the side of city buses, nor do you see ads for Super 8 motels in Times Square. So that means that your brand should market itself in places that make the most sense for it and will also complement the messaging you are trying to get across. You also want to test out your brand messages in smaller markets and then expand those out to bigger markets once you are sure your brand message is effective. If you rush to plaster your brand and images everywhere too quickly, they may lose their potency as well. Be careful where you place your images and brand because potential fans will make associations and assumptions based on where they see your marketing. And then lastly, be patient with your brand, i.e., branding takes time. The last bit of advice when it comes to promoting your OnlyFans page and your brand is to not lose patience with your branding efforts. Unlike the original branding of livestock, which is pretty instantaneous, branding these days takes time. With thousands of other content creators marketing their pages on a daily basis, it makes it hard to stand out. This is why you want to hit your potential fans with your brand message at least 7 times, as that is how many times it typically takes for someone to notice you. If you start to brand yourself in a few places and sales just seem to stay the same for a while, don't lose hope in your efforts. Remember that a lot of your competition will be gone tomorrow and you'll be several steps into your branding journey ahead of the people who come in new. As you continue to market yourself and your brand message, you will start to notice an increase in your buzz and eventually an increase in sales as well. Don't give up if results don't come right away, and remember that successful branding takes time. All right, so if you establish your brand, you'll find success comes a lot easier. So now that you know the benefits of creating a brand image, as well as the best ways to establish that brand, in the end, the goal is always the same, which is to increase sales and make your page more successful. With a bit of patience and hard work, your brand will help your content business take off and grow much larger than you thought it possibly could. Make sure to stay on your brand message consistently and keep your ads and marketing efforts in line with the values your brand stands for. If you're able to do all of that, then you will find that success will come a lot easier for you. And just to review the how to market your brand successfully, 1 is stay on message. 2 is establish what you will and won't do clearly. 3 is produce consistent ad copy and designs. 4, don't extend your brand too far, too fast. And 5, and lastly, be patient with your brand. Branding takes time. Now, if you want to review all of what I just talked about and all of the different lists, you can go, of course, to the SEO Bounty blog at seobounty.com/blog. And there are, I believe at this point, over 30 different articles for free for you to read about marketing, promotion, etc. on that blog. But if you want to go directly to this one about branding, it is seobounty.com/140. All right. So thank you for listening. Again, my name is Richard Lewis. This was How to Brand Your OnlyFans. I am the founder of OnlyFans Hero, as well as the OnlyFans and fan site marketing company, SEObounty.com. You can find this podcast on Instagram at OnlyFans Secrets Podcast, as well as on Reddit at r/OnlyFans Secrets. We're also on OnlyFans itself at onlyfans.com/OnlyFans Hero, where you can subscribe and follow for free and get the latest updates on this podcast, as well as, of course, on Twitter at OnlyFans Hero, at OnlyFans Noobs, at OnlyFans Podcast. Feel free to look up all of those. And if you're interested in promotion with the many pages that we have on Twitter, feel free to go to seobounty.com/Twitter-promos. Again, that's seobounty.com/Twitter-promos, where you can get promotion for your OnlyFans. All right. So, on to the listener question of the week. So, a listener asks, I've recently heard of other creators posting their TikTok videos on other sites as a way to promote. What are your thoughts on this? Any advice? All right, so this is a good question. TikTok has become so popular that it's a format that is almost becoming universal. So I highly suggest using TikTok videos in your Instagram Reels, for instance. I think that anytime you can create one item of media and then be able to use it over and over again, it saves you time, and it also helps, as I just mentioned, with branding. So I think it's a great way to do that. You can use that on Twitter as well, and you can use it on Reddit. But keep in mind that it will have the watermark for TikTok. Now, there are ways to remove that watermark for TikTok. You can download programs, apps, or just do a website search, and there are several different sites that will remove it. One person I read one creator suggested that you can start downloading on TikTok and the video, and then switch to another app, and then come back to TikTok, and somehow that will make the watermark disappear. People on Reddit seem to believe that that's true. Feel free to try that out, but you definitely can utilize many free programs to do that as well, if you just don't want it to say TikTok. So if someone's using the Instagram Reel and you want it to seem like you made it specifically for Instagram, then that's great too. Sometimes, it just looks like, oh, okay, this is something from TikTok, or maybe people will assume they've seen it before because, they're on TikTok a lot. So there are many different ways, or different reasons to want to change that or remove the watermark. But overall, I always suggest that, if you can save time by posting to the same site with, the same material, as long as that material is allowed on those particular sites or not frowned upon, then I say definitely you want to go for it. All right, so as always, I just really appreciate everyone listening to this podcast. If you have the opportunity to leave a review for this podcast, it definitely means a lot to me. You can do so on Amazon.com. Just put in OnlyFans Secrets in Amazon.com and it will come up, and you can leave a review through Audible. And you can also leave a review for the podcast on iTunes as well. I definitely feel